21 residents of an assisted living center are counting their blessings tonight after escaping a massive fire. Tennessee recently passed a new law, one of the toughest in the nation. In order to get one of these, you have to have at least 2 forms of identification. You're driving down the street and someone hits you, but the other driver doesn't stop. Rock salt is the weapon of choice in Rutherford County tonight. I'm Kim Hessel. I'll explain why coming up on Fox 17 News Late Edition. Bonnaroo generates hundreds of tons of trash. But cleaning crews give each camper one of these green recycling bags, and it makes their job a whole lot easier. Hats, horses, and hoopla. The 64th annual Iroquois steeplechase canters into town. Rusty Edwards rented his 3,000 square foot home in East Nashville to the couple for close to 4 years. During that time, Edwards says his house was turned into a humane shelter overrun with 21 dogs and 42 cats. Edwards says the animals caused thousands of dollars in damage. That story is first and only on Fox. A professional cleaning crew is called to this home on Shelby Avenue in East Nashville.
The stench is pretty bad. They've had a lot of dogs in each room, and there's like dog feces and dog food and dead mice, dead rats. There's a lot of bad stuff in there.
Those dogs belong to a couple now charged with dozens of counts of animal cruelty. Ron Orr, Kathy Hunter, and their animals lived in this house for years.
We were pretty shocked, angry. There was a whole lot of thoughts.
Rusty Edwards was their landlord, and he says his house was trashed.
These used to be pretty decent hardwood floors. We thought they had 3 or 4 dogs. And we'd see a cat in the window or something, but we had no earthly idea that they had that many animals.
Ron Orr admits the house on Shelby Avenue was left a mess.
They did do some damage to the house, and we did leave it dirty because he was complaining. It took us 5 days to move because we didn't have help. And he was wanting us out, wanting us out, wanting us out. So to get out, we really didn't take time to clean very much.
But Orr says the animals didn't cause that much damage.
All that house being destroyed ain't the animals, you know. It wasn't in that good a shape when we moved in.
Orr also defended himself against charges of animal cruelty. Now, Ron, 21 dogs, doesn't that seem like a lot?
It does seem like a lot, ma'am, but we've been saving dogs for over 20 years.
Saving dogs and cats that have taken over their home and their lives.
I would rather take it into my own hands because that way I know the money is going to the animals. I feel that, you know, it's my duty to help all I can.
Orr tells Fox 17 News that he did get a visit from a city official right before we talked with him. He wouldn't tell us who it was, only that he passed an inspection. Ron Orr and Kathy Hunter will be in court on June 8th. For many Americans, shopping is a chore, the time to pick up things you need or occasionally something you really want. But for a growing number of people, shopping is much more. It's an obsession.
I usually got what I wanted.
What girl doesn't need giraffe pants?
Dana Manetos is one of 17 million Americans with an addiction to shopping, a shopaholic.
I would read a magazine, and I would see it in a magazine, and I would know in my mind, I'm the only one of my friends who's going to have this. And I would justify that is why I can buy a $300 pair of sandals.
Dana, a stay-at-home mom, would hit the malls, stores, and specialty shops several times a week.
Jewelry, diamonds, vacations, luxury vehicles, Louis Vuitton belts, Louis Vuitton purses. I started with the Coach purses. I worked my way up. Fur coats. I lived in Atlanta. We had 2 fur coats. Who needs that? It's ridiculous. You name it, I'd buy it.
She started accumulating more and more things and more debt.
My husband would say, we've got to do something about the spending, and I would keep on spending. I always had the Visa, and I always did what I want, and I'd say, no, you need to find a way to pay it.
But his paycheck wasn't always enough to make the payments.
I would run up the card, $25,000, and he'd find a way to pay it off with a second loan, a mortgage, or a bonus, something.
This out-of-control spending lasted several years. Dana's addiction to shopping even made her a local celebrity.
There was an ad campaign going on in 2004. Do you know anyone who loves to shop at Stein Mart? And the store manager from 2 different Stein Marts, came up to me and said, would you like to audition for our television commercial? You're here all the time and you love it.
How cute is this? $39.99. I love this.
I love this store.
Needless to say, she landed the role.
If there's a sale going on top of that.
I loved my identity as a shopaholic. That was big for me.
That is my kind of sale.
Dr. Vatsil Thacker is a psychiatrist at Vanderbilt University who's writing a book on addiction.
Recently, people have come to a conclusion that shopping itself can become a compulsive activity similar to an addiction.
But in many cases, the act of shopping or just accumulating items is a quick fix for a much deeper problem.
Still a little high.
People go shopping maybe to relieve some of the suffering or sadness of depression. It could be the hyperactivity of mania, of bipolar disorder.
For Dana Minettos, shopping was a temporary cure for her depression.
And I just bought stuff because it made me feel good. I bought stuff because that is how I define myself socially. And I had to do a lot of growing after I realized what was going on, and I had to deal with the guilt about what I had done. I had to be real honest about why I was doing it.
For Dana and millions of others like her, shopping was a temporary cure that could have led to financial disaster. Kim Hessel, Fox 17 News.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Ashley Webster. Laura is on assignment.
And I'm Kim Hessel. First on Fox, it's going to be a nervous couple of days for hundreds of thousands of TennCare patients.
Well, the future of their health insurance is on trial in federal court.
A 16-year-old murder suspect on the run for 4 days is now in police custody tonight.
Well, that's after a police chase ends in a crash in North Nashville.
Tests are still being conducted tonight on a white powder found in a letter sent to the Metro Police Department. The threatening letter caused an evacuation of the Criminal Justice Center this morning, sending employees out into the rain. The letter was found by a clerk on the 3rd floor and sent to the health department for testing. The CJC's mailroom and the office where the letter was found were all sealed off as well.
The teenager accused of killing his bus driver is out of a mental hospital and in juvenile jail tonight.
Jason Kleinert has made his first appearance in a Stewart County courtroom. He's charged with first-degree murder. New photos tonight of a man considered extremely dangerous. Investigators say 30-year-old Bobby Joe McCauley was hitchhiking in Memphis 1 week ago when Amanda Bateman offered him a ride. That tops our look at the Fox construction zone. The westbound entrance ramp to I-40 from Briley Parkway is closed. That's the ramp used if you want to head downtown from the Opry Mills area. The ramp closed about 2 hours ago and will remain closed until Sunday night at 8. Rain this morning, but I did see the sun for
Finally,
a little while.
as it was going down,
Yes.
it made a brief appearance and maybe a sign of better things to come.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kim Hessel. First on Fox, more troops are on their way to the Gulf Coast tonight. Here are some of the latest developments in the recovery from Hurricane Katrina. President Bush is sending 7,000 more active duty personnel to the Gulf Coast. On top of that, the Pentagon announced 10,000 more National Guard troops are being sent to the region. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers says it could take up to 80 days to drain the floodwaters from New Orleans. President Bush says he will return to the Gulf Coast on Monday. It's not known yet where he'll visit or what time. And the Superdome is empty tonight. The last 300 evacuees holed up there have left for shelters in Texas. Well, thousands of people continue to be evacuated from the Gulf Coast, and tonight some of the sickest people are being brought to Middle Tennessee. Planes carrying medical evacuees have begun landing in Nashville. Fox 17's John Dunn has the story first on Fox tonight. Now, Baptist Hospital took around 15 patients, Centennial around 5 patients. The VA hospital took in around 10 patients. Now, the hospitals are expecting more patients as early as this evening. Now, one of those patients taken from New Orleans is desperately searching for her family tonight. Vivian Delani, a New Orleans native, went to take care of her mother during the storm. After the storm hit, she tried to find food for her mother, but while she was out searching for food, she fell into the floodwaters. She was rescued and brought to a New Orleans triage unit. Her rescuers did not go back for her mother.
Nobody knew where I'm at. I can't get into.
Now, if you have any information about Vivian Delani's family, please contact the Red Cross. Along the Gulf Coast, relief efforts are being increased tonight. Millions of gallons of bottled water and 2 million meals ready to eat have been shipped to the Gulf Coast, but the scene is still desperate for the people stuck there. Fox 17's Chris Wolf has more. Well, former Vice President Al Gore is helping hurricane victims tonight. Gore chartered an American Airlines flight to take survivors from New Orleans Charity Hospital to other hospitals around the country. Those evacuees have been taken to hospitals in Knoxville and Chattanooga. Well, Tennessee Senator Bill Frist is also helping out victims tonight. Frist arrived at the Louis Armstrong International Airport in New Orleans earlier today. He's been helping provide medical care to evacuees at a triage center set up at the airport. Frist says the airport is filled and 8 to 10 people are dying a day because there are no resources to treat them.